If conservatives are split on support, liberal groups are speaking in unison against Trump. 22 of them, including MoveOn.org, have released an open letter to supporters saying, in part, "This is a five-alarm fire for our democracy. A hate-peddling bigot who openly incites violence is the likely presidential nominee of one of our nation's two major parties. It is alarming and dangerous." Doug HEYE is a Republican strategist and advisor. He's worked in the House and the U.S. Senate, served in President George W. Bush's administration, and is live with us from Capitol Hill. Doug, thanks.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Shep.
Dangerous? Bigot?
Well, I don't think Donald Trump's a bigot. I think he's playing the role of the bigot almost as if he's a bad guy professional. Well, I think he's the bad guy professional wrestler trying to rile up the crowd, and he's doing a great job of it.
So he's using, so that I'm clear, are you saying that he's using a bigoted platform to attract closeted bigots?
I'm saying that the language that he uses is terrible for our democracy. It's terrible for the Republican Party.
Wait.
We're talking about Mexican rapists and banning Muslims. Minorities are not going to like that.
You said he's using bigotry. Who does one try to attract when one uses bigotry in your mind?
Well, I think if you look at what's happened at some of these events where one of his supporters walked out and told a protester to go back to Auschwitz, I think that's the kind of language that we don't need in the Republican Party or in politics anywhere.
You need to go ahead and say whatever it is you're saying. Are you saying that he is using a bigoted campaign to attract closeted bigots or not? Because who else are you looking for when you use bigotry? What other group would you be seeking?
Well, I think one of the other things that he's doing is try to attract as much media attention as possible.
Is that right? So you're going to say it, you're going to dance around it, but you're not going to actually come out and say it. Is that right?
No, Shep, I've said that I think he's using bigoted language. I don't think he's a bigot. I think he's playing a role here, and it's dangerous for the country. Doug? I think he is trying to attract bigots. He's also trying to attract as many voters as he can get, and do so by dominating all media coverage. You go back to last weekend, Friday night, when a lot of us were trying to watch basketball games and other things. We all ended up watching what was happening in Chicago, which meant that if you're Marco Rubio, you couldn't get your message out on those last couple of days before the Florida primary. If you're Ted Cruz, you struggled to get your message out. Donald Trump, yet again, dominated all media coverage.
Did he do that on purpose?
That's one of the things that he does.
There have been some reports that suggestions, at least, that might have been contrived, that might have been intentional. What's your opinion on that matter?
Well, I don't know if it was contrived or intentional or not. Certainly there were a lot of left-wing agitators who showed up there on purpose to disrupt and to deny Trump having his event, which I also think is absolutely shameful. It goes back to what Paul Ryan was saying and John Kasich were saying, what you played in the intro, about the kind of language that we need in our democracy and in the debate right now for the Republican Party.
Okay,
Donald Trump's rhetoric of hate and of violence is terrible.
So you said that the people who went out to demonstrate against what you just called Donald Trump's rhetoric of hate and bigotry, the people who went out to disrupt that sort of talk, were wrong to do so? Why?
I think if you're trying to deny any candidate the right to hold their own event, the right to voice their opinion, that's not a good thing. And as we know, these were organized leftist activists in a lot of occasions. MoveOn.org, a pro-Bernie Twitter feed that has almost 44,000 followers, congratulated themselves, tried to organize this. I think all the candidates have a right to say what they're going to say without having their voice shut down. But there's no doubt that Donald Trump, time and time again, has advocated violence. He's told people to punch them in the face. He's talked about carrying people out on stretchers. And if you punch somebody in the face, Donald Trump may pay your legal bills. That doesn't help our debate right now, and it's not the kind of rhetoric that we need in our country. And as Donald Trump says that the world is laughing at us, the reality is the world is looking, and they're really scared of what's happening in the Republican Party and in America right now. And frankly, our close allies should be scared of what's happening.